Coming up, an epic move across the rails and a road. So how did these guys pull this off? Well, horsepower and a whole lot of skill. We'll look at the machines and techniques in use today and turn back the clock to see how railroads did this in the early and mid 20th century. All that and more is next. It's just after 7 in the morning on June 10th, 2026, here in the small North Georgia town of Alto, which is about 70 miles from Atlanta. This is Norfolk Southern Territory, but its trains are running through here at reduced speed. Meanwhile, on the road that parallels the main line, crews with AT&T have been busy raising their lines. Some pretty big machines are going to be passing under them today. These 3 units were involved in a derailment here on May 21st, 2026. It all happened after the train hit a truck pulling a lowboy trailer with an excavator on it. Fortunately, according to the Hall County Sheriff's Office, no injuries were reported. Number 4808 was in the lead that day. It's a rebuilt General Electric Dash 9, now designated as an AC-44 C6M. It'll be the first unit to make the short but challenging trip over the main line, up a hill, and across this road. The job will be done by HG Railroad Services. The company has been cleaning up derailments for a few years now, but the guys working on this crew have years and years of experience between them. Now, locomotives are designed with areas where hooks or jacks can be inserted or placed. And, as you can see, the crew already has their Caterpillar side boom tractors hooked up to this engine and have raised it into the air. But in typical railroad fashion, it's now time to hurry up and wait. There's a lot of traffic that needs to get by here before any movement can happen. Amtrak 19, the southbound Crescent, is the highest priority train today. It's followed by a couple of intermodals, and mixed freight. Railroaders may move the weight of the world, but even they need a little help sometimes. Just hours after these units derailed, they were moved out of the way of the main line so it could be repaired and reopened. But now it's time to get them out of here. A makeshift ramp has been made out of dirt and rocks so the tractors can climb this hill up to the road. And here's their ultimate destination, several heavy-duty flat cars that have been placed on a siding nearby. The siding belongs to a rail-served industry. As you can see, the locomotive's trucks have already been removed. Loading the engines and their wheels onto flat cars over here means they don't have to tie up the main line. Okay, with all that rail traffic out of the way, it's time to go to work. First, an excavator places cross ties on the sides and in the middle of the rails. This will give the tractors a smooth surface to cross. Next up, a bulldozer moves in. Its winch will be hooked up to the locomotive. The operator will then put a little tension on it. Remember, they'll be going uphill and the locomotive could act like a pendulum while it's up in the air if the bulldozer isn't pulling forward on it. And now it's time to start crawling this thing toward the road. Fully loaded with its trucks attached, this locomotive would weigh around 430,000 pounds. Now, the railroad has shut down traffic on this line so the crew can safely get across and do their work. This is a highly coordinated effort using hand signals and headsets. All the equipment operators have to work together and move as one. Notice here that an excavator is following behind and using its bucket to relieve some of the strain put on the side booms as they move the locomotive uphill. I would not say this is a fast process, but it's certainly not slow either. They make occasional stops for minor adjustments. Alright, vehicle traffic is stopped and it's time to cross the road. Their final challenge is carefully creeping under all these lines. They're able to get the back end of the locomotive through. Then Georgia Power comes in with an assist so the rest of the engine can be moved. All in all, to get this thing up the hill, over the road, and into this field, it probably took about 30 minutes. Okay, so that's that. Now they get to do this 2 more times. The guys out there moving those locomotives are like firefighters. They're on call 24/7, ready to respond to a derailment, in addition to doing non-emergency jobs like this one. Train wrecking is a very specialized craft, not something that could be easily replaced by AI. But for years, railroads would actually do stuff like this themselves. When an accident occurred back then, it was time to call in the big hook. Railroads owned huge steam and later diesel cranes and used them to get things back to normal after an incident. This 250-ton crane belonged to Conrail and was built in the mid-1950s by Industrial Brown Hoist for the Erie Railroad. It was stationed in Conway, Pennsylvania. This machine was retired in 1994 and is now at the Railroad Museum of Pennsylvania. Looking at this model, we can see these big railroad cranes had main and auxiliary hooks. And they were self-propelled, allowing them to move around the accident site. But even though they could move under their own power, a locomotive was used to get them to the scene. Railroads strategically placed wrecked trains, like this one, around their systems. Trains like this would often pull cars that could haul away debris, and cars that could haul the new materials needed to get the tracks back open. Crew quarters were provided in old passenger coaches or other converted pieces of rolling stock. Idler cars, also known as crane tenders, traveled with the rail cranes. They provided spacing for the crane's boom arm between other cars. They'd also carry cabling and other accessories the crane might need. So what happened to the so-called big hooks that showed up when things went wrong? Well, pretty much all railroads have done away with wrecked trains and their crews, preferring to use contractors to clean up derailments. This, of course, saves railroads money. And as you've just seen, these days the cleanup equipment no longer rides on the rails, so what are the origins of the side boom tractors we've been watching? Well, looking at this historic footage, here's one helping to construct a pipeline. That's right, for decades, these things have been used for pipe laying. But from what I've been able to gather, the side booms used on jobs like these have been beefed up a little bit to lift heavier loads. They also carry tools like torches to fix things in the field or to cut up rail equipment or heat up stubborn bolts. Okay, it's now time to start pulling this BNSF GES44DC out of the mud. First, crews will have to line it up with the ramp they've made. Again, a lot of starting and stopping to make small adjustments, but these guys do not waste any time. And after maybe 20 minutes of repositioning, it's time to climb this hill again. Now you might notice that these side booms have kind of a rounded off and vintage look to them. They appear to all be pre-1980s tractors made by Caterpillar. These are known as live booms, and they're not hydraulic. This basically means that power from the engine is transferred mechanically to the tracks and accessories as opposed to using hydraulic fluid and pumps. Live booms are typically going to be more powerful than hydraulic ones, but they require more skill to operate. As far as operation is concerned, you could almost compare the two types of machines to a stick shift versus an automatic transmission car. Anyway, this is going to be another successful move. The power company went ahead and used one of its bucket trucks to lift up the lines. All that's left now is this Locomotive Division ST70 ACE. They got that done shortly after I left. So what'll happen to those wrecked locomotives? Well, most likely they'll be sent north to Norfolk Southern's Juniata shops in Altoona, Pennsylvania. However, I don't know if they'll be repaired or scrapped. It depends on how bad the damage is. Anyway, that's it for now. Please consider checking out some of my other videos after this one. I cover a variety of topics on this channel. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.